remember a single thing about any of the books I read in November. This is going to be a great video. Hey, I'm Liv. Welcome back to my channel, Endless Pages. Welcome to, yes, today's video, which is my November wrap up. This is very, very overdue, and I apologize. But I've been reading slumpy, so that means I've been filming slumpy. Also, if you notice my hair blowing, I've got a fan on me. I'm so sorry. Just gonna have to put up with it. It is like almost 8 o'clock at night and it's still like 25 degrees. So hot, so you're just gonna have to put up with it because I'm sweating like a pig. Anyway, you don't want to know that. Let's TMI. Yeah, in the month of November, I read 8 things, which was pretty good. I feel like I was going to have an amazing reading month, but I was participating in a readathon and I was forcing myself to participate in it. I was participating in the Clue readathon. Amazing readathon by Rainy Reed. So clever, so well planned, so well done. But it was teams based, and because it was teams based, I felt more pressured to, not pressured by anyone, pressured by myself. Like, I didn't have to, but I put more pressure on myself because I was like, you're letting the team down. Even though one of the team's co-hosts, Meredith, was like, we're going to take this chill, read what you want kind of thing. So even though that was the vibe that she was setting for the team, a very good vibe, I was still like, don't let the team down, and I just wasn't able to keep up with the pace. And I went into a slump because I just really wasn't in the mood to read a lot of what I was reading, but I was only reading them because it fit the prompt. So yeah, I had an okay month though, despite that. And I still read, and reading's reading. So anyway, let's get into the books. Oh, crap. I am not ready to talk about these books. I have no thoughts on them. The first book I read is The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. This is the first book in her new series, which is set in the same world as the Cruel Prince series, just set, I can't remember how many years, like 10 or so years, let's say, after the end of the third book in that trilogy, The Queen of Nothing. Yes, The Queen of Nothing. TikTok just started playing, but I'm not replaying that. I'm not refilming that. Anyway, yeah, so it's set like a little bit after the end of the Cruel Prince series. And we follow a character from that series that's kind of a real side character that is grown up. And we, we kind of follow them. They're not the main character. We follow our main character, whose name I can't remember, good lord, Surin, that's right. We kind of follow Surin, who is this a spoiler that she's kind of like, yeah, she was like a changeling, which is where like you swap, it's part of like fairy folklore where you like swap a human baby for a fairy until it's a certain age, and then you take the fairy back from the human family. Yeah, and she was the child of the Queen of Teeth, the Court of the Teeth, and who's not a great person, so she fled and kind of lives up feral in the woods. And then Prince Oak, who is a side character in the Cruel Prince series, finds her, and he wants her help on a mission. So that's the premise of this book, beautifully explained. My thoughts about this book. I liked it. It was like, I didn't have that same feeling that I had when I was reading the Cruel Prince series. It was still good, and I still feel like Holly Black is really incredible at writing in a way that you're so pulled into the world. It's so whimsical and wonderful, and I really felt like when I was reading, I felt like I was there with them. Yeah, I think she's just really good at writing immersive stories, and I like, yeah. And it did have that same writing of The Cruel Prince. It was more that like the characters, I think, that I was less connected to, and the story, because I don't know, the dynamic is different, but it feels familiar in a way to The Cruel Prince. Like, completely different story, but it just, I don't know, it feels familiar. Like the motivation of the main character, although very different to The Cruel Prince, it just felt like similar motivations. and I don't know if that's because she's meant to reflect a character from The Cruel Prince, or if she just unintentionally made her similar. So I felt that I was a bit let down by the similarities in the characters, even though they were really, like, I don't know how to describe it. They were completely different characters, but their motivations felt the same. So I was like, oh, I feel like I'm just reading a similar character over, and I want something new because this is meant to be a new series. I'm not explaining this well. I never do, but yeah. I mean, one thing about this was I really loved the ending, and that's where I was like, oh shit, that was good. Like, I was like, am I going to give this a 3 stars? That's crazy. But I ended up giving it 4 stars because of the ending and because of the writing and the world building. And again, I was so immersed in the world of fairy. She's just so good at those descriptions. But other than that, I was just like, I don't know. I have no major thoughts about that, and that's what's bad, is because I can't remember a lot, which is a sign that, like, I don't know, didn't leave that much of an impact on my brain. It just was there. I don't know. The ending kind of gave me hope that I'm going to enjoy the sequel more and maybe like Erin as a character more and see her as her own character rather than continuing to compare her to a character in The Cruel Prince. I don't know if anyone else has read that or if I'm just crazy and they're like, what comparison? They're nothing alike. I don't know. And I'm glad I was able to give this 4 stars, that the writing and the ending were enough to push it over, because I would have been so sad to give this 3 stars. I think if it had ended differently, I might have given it 3 stars. I don't know, I didn't feel like it was different enough to set itself apart from The Cruel Prince and be its own thing, which it is meant to be its own thing, even though it's set in the same world and it's set after. I don't know. That's my thoughts on this book. Yeah. After just talking to you guys about it just like that, I'm like, should I pull down the rating? Because, like, I wasn't saying that many good things about it, you know? Now that I've heard myself say this stuff out loud, I'm like, should I rate it lower? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you think I have rated it too high from how I'm talking about it. Anyway, book 2 I read in the month of November was, I have it sitting here, Spy Family Volume 4. I had a fun time with this. I don't have, again, super major thoughts about this. I still think Volume 3 is still my favourite so far. I've given that 5 stars. I gave this volume 4 stars. This book always makes me so happy and warm inside, and the found family is just mwah, beautiful, beautiful. Anya is iconic and will continue to be one of the most iconic characters. One thing I want to say about this book, manga book, is I liked that this volume explored the kind of spy side more. I feel like the last 2 volumes were more focused on Anya's school life and the family dynamics, so I liked that this book focused more on the actual spy part of Spy Family, which is something that I was being a bit sad that there was not heaps of. So that made me really happy. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about this volume. I will definitely be continuing on because it is a fun and wholesome time. I love that this one was a little bit more action-packed. And yeah, 4 stars for Spy Family Volume 4. The third book I read was The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. This is my first Lisa Jewell book, which is exciting, and I listened to this on audio, which was cool as well. I really enjoyed the audio, so if you're looking for audio recs and like thrillers, I recommend the audio for this book. Anyway, I'm gonna have to read the blurb off Goodreads because I can't remember any of the characters' names, honestly. Libby, that's right, this is about Libby, and Libby discovers that she is the inheritor of this kind of like big mansion-y house, and she was adopted, and this house is coming from her birth parents, and it's like this house in London, and it's gonna, you know, change her life, and yes, so but 25 years ago, police were called to the same place with reports of a baby crying. When they arrived, they found a healthy 10-month-old cooing in her crib. Downstairs in the kitchen lay 3 dead bodies, all dressed in black, next to a hastily scrawled note, and all 4 other children reported to live at this place were gone. And that's the plot. So basically you follow Libby in modern day as she gains her inheritance and starts to look into her birth family, who she's always kind of wanted to know who she is and where she comes from. And then we go back in time to the same mansion to see what happened to her birth parents and her family. So this book was wild, like absolutely fucking wild, and I'm so weirded out by it, but also at the same time I'm like, I ate that shit up. It was amazing, but also so freaking weird. I don't know, something about the formula of a book where it's like character in modern day investigating what happened in the past, and you flipping back to the past and slowly getting piece by piece what happened. It just is I don't know, it's a formula, if that's the right word, that I really like in books. And if you have any recommendations that fit that kind of idea, please let me know, because I seem to like that structure. I don't know why, just getting that tidbit bit by bit as you kind of investigate with the character and learn with the character. I don't know, the story of the family upstairs is wild. So you have a couple of perspectives from you have Libby, and then you have another character who I can't say without spoiling his perspective of growing up in this mansion, and it's so fucking weird. Like, this book really weirded me out, but I was so uncomfortable, but I could not stop listening to this. Like, I flew through this audio. I was absolutely addicted to it, and absolutely addicted to the mystery and finding out how they ended up dead at the book. Like, how did it reach that point? There's also a incredibly unreliable narrator, which I eat up. I eat up in books. I love being lied to. I love being bamboozled. I love being gaslit in books. It's fun. It's fun. I love seeing different perspectives of what happened and the characters' bias of retelling stories. I loved getting to know these characters over their lives and their childhoods. Like, it was wild, and the reveals were absolutely wild, like so fun. There was like a cultish element to this book, which was just a freaking fun time, and terrifying to see how quickly shit went bad in this house, to see how they started and how easily, slowly by slowly, how things started to go wrong and how people started to get manipulated. And then you end up at this point of absolute chaos. And even though you've seen how it got to this, you're like, how did it get to this point? So many fun villainous characters. Like, they were just dreadful, awful people. But it was so fun to read, because you're like, that's wild. And that could never happen. But it's kind of happened in Colds. It was fun. I feel like I never do books I really love justice. Like, I feel like I just ramble and ramble and ramble and speak just absolute garbage about it. But if you like unreliable narrator, multiple POVs, strong female characters, cult elements, if you like being a little bit weirded out, twist endings, shocks, amazing. Please read this book. I've given it 4 stars. I feel like I'm questioning every rating I've given in this vlog, in this wrap up. Maybe it's a 5-star. I don't know. Just like how I just spoke shitly about Stolen Air, thinking of lowering my rating. After speaking about this out loud, I'm thinking of raising it. What is going on with me? I'm usually so certain about my ratings. Anyway, yeah. Read this book. It's so fun. The audiobook's really good. Yeah, okay. That's the family upstairs. So, the next 4 books I'm going to talk about are short stories. The Clue Readathon had a 48-hour readathon round, and it was like, read as much as you can in 48 hours. So we all read heaps of short stories because like word count didn't count in that 48 hours. And yeah, I'm going to talk about those 4 books now. The first short story is Emergency Skin by N.K. Jemisin. This is a part of the Forward collection, a bunch of short stories written by different authors. This is bloody brilliant. I need a swear jar. I was about to swear again. Bloody brilliant. This was recommended by Erin from Sheepers and Shelves. Anything they recommend, I think, is going to be absolutely brilliant, because they just have exquisite reading taste. They're on a different level from my reading taste, honestly. Yeah. And this is part of Audible's like free collection as well. This is a commentary on humanity and the planet. This is set in a world where we have effed the planet. It's not livable anymore. set kind of hundreds of years after humanity has left Earth, some of humanity, and our main character has been sent back on this dangerous mission to Earth to collect samples from Earth and see, you know, what's it doing now. And basically the plot is hundreds of years ago, all of humanity's kind of Elon Musk type, that's the one name that kept popping up in my head when I was reading this, kind of joined their resources and funds together to, you know, build rockets and crap to get humanity off the planet, but they kind of chose who went. So it was a really incredible commentary on how we view people, and how do I say this right, like the people that some people on Earth see as not properly contributing to society. So basically, like, you follow the main character and they have no idea what life on Earth was like. They are just going back to what they think is going to be this husk of a planet, and they have an AI voice in your head who you hear speak to them, who was programmed obviously by the tech billionaires and has their kind of biases and disgusting thoughts on certain people. And yeah, so you're hearing their voice in the back of this person's head, and how they see certain people, and why they picked and chose some certain people to be able to leave the planet and others that were left behind, the ones that don't contribute to society. And I don't agree with that at all. It's awful, that's why I'm going like that. But it was a great commentary on the view that those people have and what humanity could actually accomplish and look like if it wasn't for that huge gap in wealth, and if education and food and basic resources and, you know, equality and kindness was given to everyone, what we could actually achieve as a race of people, like what we could achieve without that gap, and how we could look, and how humanity will always, in the worst of times, want to survive. And it was just like, I'm not doing it justice. It was commentary on those disgusting opinions on certain people who they didn't think had any value, and how we treat the planet, how we treat each other, what our society could actually look like without their influence and without their greed and corruption. And it was just like, it was so moving, and I really connected with it, and I thought it was beautiful, and I thought the message was absolutely beautiful. What we could accomplish if everyone had equal access to education. It's not about who you are, it's about the resources that you're given. It just really, I'm not explaining it properly. This book really moved me. It was absolutely beautiful. I loved the ending. I loved the commentary it made on wealth and equal access to what should be basic human rights. It was absolutely brilliant. It was moving. It was hopeful. It was sad. I loved it. I was so moved by it. I thought it was perfect commentary. Like, I really was really connected with this story. It was so good. It was so good. I loved it. Next up, I read a book from what I think is another short story collection, actually, and this is called The 6 Deaths of the Saint by Alex E. Harrow. I also gave this 5 stars. I don't know if I told you. Emergency Skin, 5 stars. 20 stars. This was amazing. So this is about this girl who was saved from death by the Saint of War, and she becomes a prince's weapon, and she kind of got what she always wanted, was to be powerful and feared and seen. And I don't really want to say any more, like, without spoiling it, but this book was harrowing. It was so, like, the reveals were just absolutely depressing, and just to see the circle that this character went in was just so frustrating to watch happen. It's so devastating to watch happen, and this was just like This was incredible. I don't want to say any more than that. A short story that had 30 pages that made such an impact on you, like a book that was so amazing, and the story was so incredible and felt like the perfect length, even though it was 30 pages. Like, the talent to be able to make such an impact on me and make me connect with a character so deeply and feel so devastated by the reveals and the twists and the repetition of her life, the sad repetition of her life, was amazing. 30 pages, like, insane. I have nothing more to say than this was 5 stars. Everyone read this book. So good. So I probably caused a lot of confusion with what I'm about to say. You know how I said I read 2 books from the Forward collection? I lied. The 2 books I read from the same collection are What the Dead Know and the 6, which I'm about to tell you about now, and the 6 Deaths of the Saint, which I just told you about. So they're from the Into the Shadow collection. So I apologize for the confusion. What the Dead Know is a short story with basically the same word count as the last one. Like, there's about a page difference, about this medium who fakes being a medium, and some actual spooky shit actually starts to happen. I didn't enjoy this one. I feel like it was super rushed, whereas with, I mean, I probably shouldn't compare it, but I can't help comparing it to the other book in the collection, The 6 Deaths, and what that was able to accomplish in the same word count. I just feel like this was really rushed. I liked the commentary on race. I thought that was good, and commentary on violence toward women. I thought that was well done, but it just felt really rushed. It was a little bit atmospheric at some parts. I liked that spookiness, but then the second bit just kind of took this weird turn, and it wasn't like spooky supernatural anymore. It was just sucky reality, and I just feel like that was really weird and just took away from the atmospheric start to the book. Yeah, I felt like it was rushed. I mean, it's only 30 pages. It just felt really rushed, and I think I would have liked it more if it was longer and I had more time to get to know the characters, and that was a bit more of a setup, and it explored more of the spooky side. So I only gave this 3 stars. I don't think it's a 2-star book. I think it was just average. So I'm sad that I didn't like the second book I read in that collection, but yeah, it was meh. Hey, editing Olivia here, in the middle of doing her makeup, so it's like not rubbed in properly. I need to go somewhere soon, but I was editing and I just wanted to say, I think maybe I've missed the whole point of this book. You know how I just said, like, oh, it kind of took a weird turn at the end where it just suddenly shifted back to the scary thing not being so supernatural after all. I think maybe that's the point. The author's trying to say, you know how I put in all this supernatural stuff and how that's all really, really scary? Well, humanity and humans are just as scary, and what we are capable of doing is just as terrifying. And you know what we should actually be thinking as terrifying is humanity and what we do to each other. Maybe? Is that what she's trying to say and it's just completely like gone over my head? If you've read this, let me know your thoughts, but watching me talk about it back has just made me have a bit of a eureka moment. So I feel a little bit dumb now after watching my review back. And again, I might change my rating, because if that's what she was trying to say, that's really smart. Anyway, I gotta go. Goodbye. Finally, in the month of November, I finished off with my final short story, The Sleeper in the Spindle by Neil Gaiman. I loved the illustrations in this. I loved the plot. This is like I think it's meant to be like a Sleeping Beauty retelling, but it was like really creepy and Neil Gaiman-like. And yeah, I don't know what to say about this. I don't really remember much about it, but it was good. I don't know, it was good. 4 stars. I liked the illustrations, I liked the spin on the story, I liked the female main character. I thought she was very well written. So yeah, 4 stars. First of all, sorry about that. That was bad. I feel like instead of the quality of my videos improving, they're just like getting worse and worse and more like hot garbage every time I film. Maybe that's the whole schmick of my channel, what makes my channel unique and stand out. It's just that it's horrible and I continue with it anyway. Let me know in the comments below, what was your favourite thing you read in November? I think mine's a tie between Emergency Skin and The Family Upstairs. I'm still thinking of increasing my rating on that. Let me know. And my least favourite was definitely What the Dead Knows. That was really disappointing. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you like this, which I highly doubt you did, give this video a like and subscribe if you would like to see more hot garbage. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in whatever the hell I post next. Bye!